Hey, all right. Good afternoon.
Hi everyone.
I hope you got your coffee. We got ours. We're super excited to be live with you. So we are going to be having our conversation. We're going to let some people get on board and we'll chat away. But it looks like it's a beautiful day here in sunny Orlando. Hope it's nice wherever you are. We're drinking some great coffee. That's not. All right. We're back on. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, so I guess do we want to get this party started? What do we think here? So we're super excited, and this is our first live. This is my first live Instagram video, so I'm pretty excited about this. And ideally, it's perfect to do this after 8 weeks of isolation because I went to out in the sun, got like second-degree burns, and I'm feeling it. But I'm super excited to be here. So, Bree, thanks so much for doing this with me. This is going to be awesome. This is a series that we're going to be doing, Coffee and Conversations with Interior Talent. So, let's get this party started. But, first of all, and most of you know who we are, but we're so excited to be doing this. Interior Talent, we're international recruiters for architecture and design industry, and we're really excited to be part of this, doing this for 17 years. I'm Ken Roberts, I'm one of the principals, and this is Bree Pivas, who's one of our superstar recruiters. And we're going to be talking about some good stuff. So, there's a lot going on in the world, right? We know that, and we appreciate everyone doing everything they need to do to kind of keep things in check. And our goal, Interior Talent, is just to make sure we're helping the way we can. The way we can help is by helping get people jobs. It's that simple. We're going to do our part. We're connected with a lot of really good companies in our industry, and so we're super excited to be able to do this and help some people out. Yeah. But we're going to be drinking some good coffee. What do we got? We got Lineage today.
We have Lineage coffee, and we are actually going to be giving this away to one of you guys watching, along with one of our handy dandy Interior Talent mugs. So keep watching because we are going to announce the winner at the end.
Exactly. So we're pretty cool. So we're excited. Lineage, by the way, they're in East End Market, and they have one on Mills 50 here in Orlando. I think they order all over you can order it online. They got really cool stuff. They're great people and great brand. They do some really good stuff. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate them, and cheers to them. So cheers. Okay. It's quite good, actually. Not actually, but anyway. We're going to do questions at the end. So put the questions in the chat, and we can answer those questions for you. So we'll make sure we can try to get as many as we can into this time. So let's start off. The whole talk about this one is about preparing for an interview, and before you get that interview call, and what are you going to do to prepare for it. So we always tell our candidates, Bree, that you got to really prepare. You got to do a lot of things in advance. You can't just say, "Oh, I got the interview," and just show up. So first thing I want to talk about is like really doing your research. I mean, research. You get the call, so you got to find out who you're going to be meeting with, right? So you ask the person, who am I going to be interviewing with? Make sure you get their name, get their title. Are there going to be multiple people, right? So you make sure you really know who you're meeting with. And then you got to find out as much as you can about them. Social media, going on LinkedIn, going on the company website, really diving into who are these people. Really understand if there's some point where you can kind of get something familiar with them. Right? Really making sure that you are understanding about the company and their relationship with the company and if there's some other relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure that you're reviewing the job, right? Reviewing the job really in detail, looking at the website, looking on Google about anything you can find about the company. Do as much as you can before you walk in that door or virtual to be prepared to really understand who they are, what they're about, and what connection points you have. I think that a lot of people tend to go in thinking, okay, I saw the job description, that's okay,
right?
But that's not it, right?
No.
I mean, there's so much more. What do you think is important?
Exactly what you said. I mean, yes, the objective is to get an interview. You can't get the offer without an interview. But you have to prepare for that. You have to, as you said, you have to take the time to okay, great, you've seen the job description, you might have looked over the website, but it's really important that you dive into, okay, who am I going to be speaking with? There is a ton of things that you can learn about your interviewer before you even meet them. First off, go on their LinkedIn. Maybe you graduated from the same school. I know that was actually the case when I interviewed here. Ken and I both went to UCF. So
Go Knights.
Charge on. That was immediately something that we could talk about. Because you have to think about it. They've already seen your resume. They know who you are. I guarantee you they know much more about you than you think. It's time that you do your due diligence. Go on their website. A lot of times they even have an About Us section on their website where you can see who their key players are for the company. And it will prepare you whenever you go into that interview. You already have some talking points.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important. Like, there's so much you can find online and social media. I mean, I look at when I'm looking for candidates, when I'm looking at a candidate, just so you know, as a recruiter, we look at everything we can. We really want to understand you, right? We want to see what kind of connections are. So we look at your Instagram, we look at your Pinterest, we look at Facebook,
Right.
we're looking at everything we can, and so is the employer. So you need to do the same. And we'll talk about some of those things later on down the road with some of other stuff about how your digital life should look like for potential employers, but really do everything you can to prepare. So, I think that you got to be ready to go. And, as you get prepared, most likely in this time, you're going to be kind of getting set up for an interview. And usually we're doing a lot of virtual interviews, right?
The second point, thank you for going ahead and pivoting into that. We are going to go ahead and talk about just a few key points about how to prepare for your virtual interview. Right now, that is a ton of what the interviews are. And we're all kind of getting used to that. It's all very different. But a few key things that you need to keep in mind when you are preparing for your virtual interview is you need to test out everything that you possibly can. There are a ton of softwares going around. There are RingCentral, there's Zoom. There's so many that I'm not even naming right now.
So many.
You need to figure out, do I have to download that program before I join? Do I just click the link and I'm here? You need to test your connection. You need to go on, see what your background looks like. There's only so much we can control there, but do try to keep a clean background. One of the worst things that can happen is when you're in an interview and we can't stop looking at something in your background and the pizza box and where'd you get that pizza from last night, all of those things. Try to keep all the distractions to a minimum. You want to do a test, you want to know exactly what the other person is going to see, and you want to look at the part. Just because you're not meeting them face to face, you still want to treat it exactly like you would if you were actually shaking their hand and sitting in their office. What do you think?
I mean, totally. I mean, and to her point, I mean, we've seen some things. I mean, now I think everyone's kind of a little Zoom fatigue. They're a little over it, but you got to be prepared because not everybody's right back into it. So you're going to be careful about is, you're being prepared, but more importantly, like you said, doing some testing, all right, and really testing with some friends. See, they'll let them give. Okay, no, we're on pause. And we got to really see what their comments are. What do they see in their background that you're not seeing? You may think it's fine, but trust me, we've seen some stuff. I've seen some stuff on people's backgrounds, some really inappropriate things in the background, like books and stuff that really people shouldn't be seeing. But anyway, that's fine. Listen, you'll be smart about it. Just make sure you're doing some testing with some friends and our colleagues so they can give you their, a different perspective, a different opinion of it. Yeah. So, but yeah. What about the face? You want to talk about the face-to-face preparation?
Yep. So face-to-face interviews, the more traditional way of interviewing, and hopefully the route we're going to be pivoting back to soon. But preparing for your face-to-face interview. We're back. So face-to-face interviews, I learned really early on in my interviewing career. I can remember interviewing a job I was super excited. We're pausing.
Yeah, so we're getting some connection issues. Sorry. See, this is why you're supposed to test things, right? See, this is a perfect example.
Yeah. But I can remember literally, I was so excited for this interview, and I got on the road, and I-4 traffic, people from Orlando can definitely understand that. I was super late to the interview because I could not find the exit. It was constantly changing. So take the time, whether it is the day before, whether it is the week before, it doesn't matter. Drive the route, figure out where you're going to be interviewing, figure out what the parking situation is like. Are you going to have to parallel park? If you're like me, I can't even parallel park, so we need to find a garage. So you need to prepare for your in-person interview by making sure that you know exactly what you're doing so that you can get there on time. and then dress the part as well, just like you would in a virtual. And then we always recommend for your in-person, try not to get there probably earlier than 10 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 15
Yeah.
minutes. I agree. Not too early. You're looking like kind of. The big thing about that is if you get there too early, the person's not ready, and it's really uncomfortable. Is maybe there are multiple people going interviews, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're scheduling them pretty close. You get there too early. Well, out comes the person that's your competition. I mean, maybe you can stare them down and scare them out of the job, but most likely that's not going to work.
Probably
so,
not.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
else? Anything else on that?
Well, we deal a lot in our industry with portfolios, not just resumes.
That's right.
So, you've been in the business a really long time. You've looked at a million portfolios.
A lot, yeah.
What would you say is important with portfolios?
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen tens of thousands of portfolios, and people always ask about what should be included in it. But the big thing is that what I tell people to do is when you're going for an in-person, you can have a printed version of your portfolio, but really digital is probably the biggest one. There might be some students or recent grads on here. I always tell people that are recent grads, like the big portfolios are really cumbersome and really not always that great to kind of present. So if you can have a smaller 8.5 by 11 portfolio, that could work. Because you want to have a whole bunch of stuff in there. You're going to have drawings, pictures, renderings, maybe sketches. You're going to have pictures, maybe artwork you've done or photographs that you've done to kind of show your creativity. But when you go in for an interview, big things you want to do is if you're going to bring multiple copies of your resume, right? Because you don't know how many people you're going to meet with. I recommend you put copies of some key pictures of your portfolio attached to your resume. So those are your giveaways, we call them, right?
Yeah.
And digital portfolio is really crucial to really have that consistent with what you're putting out there online. If you're putting your portfolio on LinkedIn or if you have a personal web page, but it's really important that your portfolio shows the full cycle of a project the best you can. From conception to completion. Now, not everyone has a completed project, but so do everything you can. I've seen projects portfolios where they're just all renderings. And it's not always it's not look that great to just be renderings. So you got to do the best you can to really show the full cycle of a portfolio of a project. Excuse me.
And it ties back into the research piece that we were talking about. If you're someone that's super diverse, you've had a fantastic design career where you've kind of dabbled in a ton of different things. You've got some hospitality, you've got some commercial, you've got some residential, some government. Figure out where you're interviewing. Just like you change your resume to kind of include some keywords and reflect different things of your experience, you want to do the exact same thing with your portfolio too. You still want your portfolio to be an eye catcher. If you are interviewing at a luxury residential firm, highlight your residential. It certainly, pause again, it certainly does not hurt to include your other pieces,
right.
But you need to be able to show why you're qualified for this position. I've done this before, and you need to be able to speak to that. If you have any questions, we're recruiters. That's what we're here for. I always recommend scheduling a call with your recruiter, no matter what the position is, within 24 hours of that interview. It's going to be very important. They can give you the tools to set you up perfectly, tell you, hey, for this interview, maybe alter your portfolio a little bit. You might want to print out some copies. There's a ton of resources that we can offer anyone interviewing that is at your disposal.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that because it's important. The things we're sharing with you over this series and all on live, every episode we do is really going to be tips from us specifically as we prep our candidates, things we hear from our clients. Like one thing a couple of funny things have happened where people come in with their digital portfolio, right, and you don't have it prepped up. It's not ready to go, or your battery's not fully charged, so you can't show it. Don't walk in with a USB drive, jump drive, flash drive, because, then some people are not comfortable with it. But, things like, having your battery fully charged, having the portfolio open and ready to go if it's on an iPad or laptop, because you don't want some crazy screensaver. I don't want to see, I'm sorry, I have kids, but I don't want to see a picture of your kid. I wanted to just see a portfolio when you come in.
Your dog's a little bit different. Like, we might want to see the dogs. But
the
no,
dogs,
I'm just kidding.
But no, but seriously, I think that people need to be, these little steps will just help you just really have an edge, right? All we can do is prepare you the best way we can as recruiters and as just industry partners to really make sure that you're ready to go walk into these interviews, really ready to go, really excited, and feeling confident. Because all the things you do in advance, right, is to help you walk in with an extra level of confidence, or virtually walk in, the way you look, the way you present yourself. What does your resume say about you? Does your resume cater towards the job? Does your portfolio cater towards the jobs? All these little things. It's just slight edges. Anyway, so we were finishing up with some Q&A. So we're going to talk about some stuff that we got going on. We ended with some things about the portfolio. I was talking about digital versus printed portfolio. Big fan of digital. The way you can prepare it, make sure you can manipulate it is really important. We talked about one page. One of the questions that we got was a 1-page versus 2-page resume.
Yeah.
What are your recommendations?
That's a common question. We honestly get it all the time, and it's something that I know stresses a ton of people out. Like, can my resume be 2 pages? I'm freaking out. I can't take any more off.
Yeah.
Listen. 2 pages. If you've got 25 years of experience, don't stress about it. You've got 25 years of really valuable experience that it would be difficult to put on 1 page. But if there's anything that you can cut that is not relevant to the job that you're applying for, chop it off.
Yeah.
If you can keep it to 1 page, do it. If that means playing around with the font, playing around with the format, that's really important. We will go ahead see about maybe linking in a post back to our blog. We have a blog post about how to condense your resume to 1 page.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's important. There's a couple of reasons for it. I think that, the average person that's reviewing a resume wants to get through it pretty quickly. So you give them too much to look at where it's just too much filler. Eventually, they know it's just filler. Just being, get succinct and to the point. And if you really take your time in preparation and preparing your resume to the job and to the company, right, making sure that highlighting those skills, highlighting the type of work you've done that's relevant to your world and to the position, then it really can be narrowed down to 1 page. So it's a very, very comfortable thing to do. So, this has been great. I don't know if there's any other specific questions that we want to talk about, but we wanted to let you know that next week we're going to be talking about the actual interview, like hardcore, getting in there. We might do some mock interviewing. Who knows what's happening there, both virtual and face-to-face.
Yeah.
We're going to do that Thursday the 28th, same time, 2 o'clock. And I promise we'll have this internet thing figured out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if there's anything that would be useful to anyone watching that, you wish that we would cover, you wish we would hit on, any specific questions, please feel free to let us know. You can email any of the recruiters. You can contact Interior Talent directly through Instagram if that's easiest. We're here for you. We're here as a resource. We want to make sure that we're putting out valuable information that you can use, not just for now, but forever.
Yes. And so now, the big moment to win the fabulous prizes. Bree, who's our winner?
I'm really sorry in advance if I say your name wrong. But our winner is Najet
Tafia?
Again, I'm really sorry if we said it wrong.
Najet, N-A-J-E-T-T. Look for a direct message from us so we can send this out to you. We're so excited. Congratulations on being our first winner.
We have a question.
Did you have a question?
Oh, we have another question that came in, but
Let's see.
Najet, you won.
Mark Manscott says, how do you see the hiring market progressing after the COVID pandemic lets up?
Oh, this is a good one. And I apologize because that's been a question that people have asked. Listen, we are very, very, very excited about what we're seeing. We know that there's a lot of people that are unemployed, but what's interesting is that our industry, the design and architectural industry, has not been hit or cut as deep as some of the other industries out there. So we're starting to see, we're fairly busy. I mean, we're not as busy as we were in February, but we're as recruiters, we're pretty busy. And so we're starting to see things move. Our clients are still actively engaged in interviewing. A lot of them doing virtually. Some have paused on making a final decision until they can meet in person. But we're busy.
Yeah.
We're seeing some good things. So yes, I do think it's going to pick back up extremely over the next few months, because we're starting to see, all 50 states are in some kind of partial opening now. We're starting to see people get in the office. We're getting new jobs. So it's a good sign. I always tell people, if a recruiter is busy, the industry is doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only in the industry that you guys are in, right? We're only in design and architecture. So we're manufacturers of A&D products, and we are very, very excited about what we're seeing. We're confident that we won't see a full rebound for probably 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see a really good movement up on the markers for the next 3 to 6 months for sure. So hope to answer your question, Mark. But yeah, we're excited. It seems like it's going in the right direction for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So with that, I don't think there's any other questions. But please, message us if there's something you want to hear about. You want to talk to Bree? She's Bree at interiortalent.com. I'm Kenneth at interiortalent.com. Visit our website. We have a contact us. Sign up for our newsletter. Check out our great blogs that we have posted on our website. We got all of our jobs are on there. We want to be a resource to you the best we can. We got some webinars that we're doing for some ASAD and IADA chapters, and we want to just be partners with you to help the best we can. We're really excited for our Lineage coffee, so thanks again to Lineage. Super excited. We're going to have something new next week. You never know. So we hope you tune in next week to our next coffee and conversations.
Yep.
So
Cheers.
thanks, Bree. Cheers to you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All the best.